famous, who's, I have problems with royalty, which I think we all do. But anyways, he did self-reflections, and there was a whole like collection of his writings to himself. And so writing to yourself in like the third person or whatever is like maybe a way to like disconnect and like process things. So that was one thing you can do to just like deal with life and reality and whatever your issues are. I said earlier something about air and trees. So like forest trees actually release a chemical which has a silly name like inobtonium, but like a more positive one. I can't remember it right now. But basically it's like a antidepressant that's in leaves. So spend time out in nature, you're better off. And yeah, get rid of your TV because and then 1 hour social media, people are like basically markedly less happy. So spend less time on that. I kind of just like post and get out and hope that whatever I throw on there keeps them off of it too. But that's kind of that's my dream. All right, and then meditation is good, and just the idea also that you are your own authority. Like somebody was talking about earlier, like everything's a decision, and yeah. And I think it's not bad to be disagreeable, to speak truth, nonsense. Obviously, I don't want to argue with people all the time, but it's good to like exercise that muscle. All right, see if I can plow through these other ones. Come on, 26 minutes. Energy and ecological stuff. So like 2/3 of the water I was saying are wasted. So same goes for energy from the power cables. It's all lost off of heat. So that's highly efficient. And once again, 2/3 of it goes to industry, building crap that we don't need most of the time. So it's highly inefficient. So as far as that goes, it's possible to be more efficient with your energy. And then you got like electromagnetic radiation. You can get a transmitter thing. You can test stuff. I actually have one. I didn't bring it because I'm on my motorcycle, so I can't carry as much crap. So otherwise I'd show it to you. But you can measure like radio waves, microwaves, and like other general EMF. And anything above like 3 milligauss is like bad for you. That's known, like I said, and these like markers are usually kind of high. So that's good to know. Check that out. So, and then yeah, make a video. Like you got a certain phone, like say, this is what happens when it's playing music. This is when I'm on Bluetooth. This is when I'm on Wi-Fi and I'm downloading, like check it out and just throw it out. Like the more informed we are, that's the informed consent kind of thing. We can all be part of that. And then yeah, cell phones, just terrible to put them on your breast or on your butt or near your balls. So that's like pretty bad. I would say if I ever do it, I use a cargo pocket and I'll like, I guess get knee cancer first before my balls do, which they could be similar if you've watched a certain episode of South Park. But yeah, it's like, your body's basically like, can you hear me now? Like, don't put that next to me. All right, let's talk about clothes for a sec. I think it's gnarly. Like we have sweatshop clothing, and that like we embody, I think, a lot of the emotions from that kind of thing. Especially because sweatshops are horrific work environments. Can you imagine like that third world version of The Office? Like I don't remember the names of the characters. I watched it a long time ago. I'd be like, oh, this is the third time this week Steve has raped me. Somebody must really be bothering him. Like I don't know. I guess this is go off the comedy later. But yeah, and then we literally like, these shoes, these are from motorcycles, so I can't find minimalist boots from my motorcycle yet, so I don't know. Has anybody got a production company? Let's do this. But yeah, I normally don't have heels in my shoes. Born to Run's a great book about how we're made to run. We could outrun horses. There's a guy whose horse went lame. He ran the race because he was a marathoner, and he won the race. They had to change the rules. So anyways, let's see. All right, close. Yeah, literally walking on slavery is just kind of like a mind-numbing thing in a weird way. And then also, like, yeah, just being... All right, so let's talk about vision for a sec. There's a movie or a book called 4 Arguments for the Elimination of Television. The other one's like really solid book. He also wrote another book called The Absence of the Sacred, and he literally talked about the Disneyfication of the planet in like the early 90s. And I think he's still alive, but he's really old now. I don't think he's like really with it. But anyways, it was just crazy. He totally called it. And yeah, like he just did the insider information from the TV industry and how like they're using these things against us. And like pink light is like really bad for you. And just like all this stuff. Blue light's bad. So it's another thing. Use blue light blockers. I use a blue light app. Turns on at a certain time. Messes up your melatonin. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, the social media, once again, I guess is kryptonite for the attention span would be one way I would term that. Let's see. I'll talk about physical health, and I guess that'll be the end of it. Oh, maybe a little bit about sound, real quick. So yeah, physically, like there's diabetes, and you got people having their feet chopped off. I guess it's like nature telling you use it or lose it. I'm wrapping it up. Yeah, let's see. Oh, and then so as far as like working is concerned with physical stuff, trying to offset it, I have like elliptical. It's a little magnetic elliptical. And if anybody wants to ask me later, I'll show you which model I use. But you could sit at a desk and you can like move your legs, and it's good to get up every hour. Because literally back in the day, they used to give people bed rest, and then they'd get up after being in bed, and they'd get like a pulmonary embolism, and it would clot from their legs would go into their lung, and it would kill them. If it goes past, it might go in your brain. Anyways, you just get up every hour at least, if not 30 minutes. Would be like even better. So you could get a treadmill, but it's not good to stand on flat ground. So there's like these cobblestone like mats you can get, so that you have like more of a dynamic like environment for your feet. So check that out. Here's a random thought: freedom isn't free, but bullets are expensive. No, that's I don't know. All right, so sound stuff. Yeah, I mean we have a lot of noise pollution. I guess you can get some stuff to help with that. I don't know if I really have much time to kind of ramble about that, but just some of the books I'd recommend: How Not to Die by Dr. Greger, and then Absence of the Sacred, like I mentioned before. Move Your DNA. It talks about like sound and sensory stuff and all that kind of things. Really cool lady. I'd like to do some of her certificates actually someday. There's Matt Walker. He wrote about sleep. You need like 7 to 9 hours a day. The research is super conclusive. Doctor Yourself, I mentioned that, and 4 Arguments for the Elimination of Television, and yeah, I guess that's it. I don't think I have any time for questions, so, yeah?
You could take a couple questions.
Okay, does anybody have any questions about any of the array of things I rambled about? Which one? The Absence of the Sacred. It's basically about how technology is like undermining our appreciation for connecting with the earth and stuff. Yeah, it's really good. And he also wrote the 4 Arguments for Elimination of Television. His name's Jerry Mander, which is a funny name, but that's his real name. Yeah, but it's with a J, not with a G. So, but it's spelled otherwise the same. Maybe if his name was different, he wouldn't have done well. What's up? All clad and then titanium. It's hard to find big stuff that's made with titanium, so I've been thinking about getting like titanium sheeting and making stuff because Teflon basically releases like chemicals that have been illegal since World War I. Like there's just some nasty stuff in that, and then like chips, like paint. Like I've always been very intuitive. I remember when I first saw that, and they're like, "Don't chew on your pen. Like it's bad to eat plastic." And I'm like looking at the plastic cutting board, like giving stuff off, and I'm like, "How's this cool?" You know. No, that's like like I said, where's the production company at, man? Keith? Oh yeah, I've gotten a Keith thing, but they're not big. They're all super tiny. Okay, yeah, it's just really hard to find like big stuff. But I mean, like like if you're not raw, it's just like a lot of things I've heard that it's not good to like keep pre-cooked food for too long, anyways. And I've heard something like that, like within like 11 minutes the nutrients degrade. So, like chop stuff up and then like cook it as little as possible as necessary, and then shove it in your face, and then don't waste. Yeah, that's like the water-based cooking. You could do with the all-clad. The lips seal like super solid, really thick. Yeah, they're super legit. It was like $700 for like a set of like 7 pans, and it was like a big, like it's not like a full stock pot, but it's a big like soup kind of pot. And then there was like a medium one, and then a small one, and then there was like a little skillet which I sold on eBay because I don't make eggs. I just didn't feel any practical use for it. It was too small. Then like a bigger saucepan. I think that was roughly like mostly what was in the set.
What was the name of the filters? The Levoit?
Levoit. Yeah, and they're on Amazon, which screw Amazon. But anyways, that's breathing good is nice. Yeah, they're air filters. They plug in the AC. There's some other ones I want to like experiment with. They're like smaller. I have a tiny house, so that's another thing about minimalism and minimizing your eco footprint is the less stuff you have. And like I don't know if anybody's heard the phrase. It's like the more things you own, the more they own you. So that's another problem. Yes, I do intermittent fasting mainly, which I don't think I got to. And then I do fast. I was supposed to go do an ayahuasca thing, and then too much life stuff happened, which is too complicated to get into. But yeah, I didn't make it. And so I did some fasting prior to that. And I usually do a 3 to 5 day fast a few times a year. And then the intermittent fast is usually like a 15 to 18 hour window, is like the best I've heard. Because your digestive cycle basically rotates, and like your body's like doing other stuff in those times when you're not eating. And when people are constantly eating, you're preventing your body from like doing all these other things that it would normally do if you weren't just like shoving things in their face. So, and that's kind of like our brains too. Like it's all like metaphysically like applicable on multiple levels. Like people that don't stop and like absorb like reality, or like just sit, or like being bored. I think was it Terrence McKenna or somebody said that, like it's a novelty to be bored, like, and that was a while ago, like just to sit and just be like, all right, I'm just dealing with reality right now. It's always just like got to do something, and it's almost like a diabetes of the mind, where it's like you can't regulate your attention anymore. So
Are there any good water filter brands that you recommend?
the Pro One was the one that I recommended mainly, and then RO. But then you should find a way to add minerals. So you could do that with like an ancient sea salt, like preferably, or like the Himalayan's good. There's like Celtic ones I've heard of. I don't know enough really, and there's not enough time really to like go through that. But that's one of the things is the main concern, is the mineral content. And and then the Pro Ones, by the way, they do have. I think it's always good, by the way, too, just to like for water preparedness, have a life straw with you, like on a Boy Scout side of things. I didn't even get into that, but yeah, just like being ready for like just drinking like crappy water. Like that Pro One, like they had a bottle, a sports bottle. It was really hard to suck through it, but I was drinking water. There's like frogs and stuff in it, so which maybe my digestive system would be better off if I just drank the frog water. Who knows? But anyways, I guess that's, yeah. Yeah. So,
In the breath work, what about the results? The mouth breathing over the nose?
he was able to increase the cubic space of his mouth, like actually by doing these exercises. One of them is called mewing, and there's this guy, something Muse, James Muse or something. He was some kind of orthodontist or dentist guy, and he was talking about this, and they like disbarred him or whatever. Like he took his license from him, and they just, like all this stuff is like shrinking, and so like he shows like how people with like shrunken chins aren't like inbred, they're mouth breathers, which what's the difference? No, I'm playing. But it's like like all this stuff is like not being exercised. It's just like it's atrophying, like it's like a developmental atrophying of the nasal passages and the breathing airways and stuff. James Nestor, Nestor. Yeah, so like they actually had people, like I said, I could do a whole thing about the breath, but they had people that had emphysema, and there was people in history that were like, defiled on like by the mainstream idiots as we deal with today with our own stuff. And like he taught people how to do like breath work, and they were curing emphysema and stuff. And like, which is crazy because I have a relative that died of emphysema. So it's like to know that like that she could have just like practiced breathing a certain way and she might still be around. I don't know, because my other grandma, her sister is 102 and she's still alive. So there's a lot of case studies. But anyways, I think I gotta stop answering questions. But you could talk to me later at the fire. I'll be staying overnight, and I'm glad you guys were interested in all the weird stuff I rambled about. Thanks. I'll try and come back again with more. Cheers.